Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Amerex 441 brass valve dry chemical extinguisher, and then I'm going to be doing a discharge test on it. So as you can see here, this is the 441. You can see it has the bigger brass valve and the nice stainless steel handles. This is different from the standard aluminum valve version, which I'll show you here in a second. But let's just go over some of the specs. So obviously this is an ABC extinguisher, which means it can be used on ABC fires, pretty much everything you're going to find. It's rated for a 80 BC, pretty decent rating for a 10-pound extinguisher. You can see it has the standard Amerex conical flared nozzle, pretty decent. This extinguisher is 10 pounds, like I said, but if we actually go ahead and weigh it, it's about 18 pounds. You can see it's got the nice, pretty large pull pin. I do really like the fact that these Amerex models always come with the big pull pin, because it's a lot easier to, get your fingers in and then pull it out when you have a nice large pull pin like this. And then, of course, it also comes with the pin retainer, so this is great because, like, right now, if I needed to pull it, I'm not going to lose the pin, so it just stays on the extinguisher, and then later when I need to get it recharged or something, or let's say I just knocked out the pin, I can just put it back in without accidentally losing the pin or something like that. This is the standard Amerex. This is just the aluminum valve. This is also really decent. You can see it has the aluminum valve handles as opposed to the nice brass valve handles. It's still decent, but this is the heavy-duty extinguisher that you're going to want to find, because if I took a hammer right now and I just smacked this handle, it would definitely bend, it would just crease. But if I took a hammer right here and I smacked it, it would just be perfectly fine. In fact, I'll actually do that now. So you can see it was perfectly fine. If I did that to a an aluminum valve extinguisher, which I'm not going to do, it definitely would have just bent. But because this is a really nice heavy-duty extinguisher, it handled that like a champ, and you can see it's not even bent, not even a dent. The Amerex 441, or the brass valve style extinguishers, were actually the very first extinguishers Amerex produced, and then they started producing, the aluminum valve extinguisher a lot later on, but this was the original, and they actually still use the exact same parts that they did back in 1980, which is great, because let's say you have an older extinguisher from like 1986 or something. You can use the valve parts from this extinguisher onto that extinguisher, and you can keep them going because all the parts have remained unchanged. So they're really good, consistent quality extinguishers. They've always stood to the test of time, and I just really like them. So if we take this to the fire museum, you can see this was actually one of the original extinguishers. You can see it does look slightly different where they changed the handles, but this is actually the exact same valve that's on this extinguisher. Then later they switched to this design. You can see they have changed the handles again. Now this slightly does resemble the modern one. Then they changed to this design with the classic label, and then finally they settled on this valve and then this label style. Today I'm actually going to be testing this style of extinguisher. The reason being I don't want to test this one is because this one is fairly new. I don't really want to discharge it yet, but I do have one of these that's pretty old and I want to discharge it. Because this extinguisher is 4A rated, I'm burning 4 bags full of paper. Here you can just see the incredible power of these extinguishers. Taking a look at the test results, you can see that when this extinguisher is discharged, the powder comes out in a really conical but powerful shape. This is great because it covers a wide area of fire while also not being too powerful as to blow the fire everywhere. You also get a lot of powder out of this thing. This thing has a pretty high flow rate. You can tell it actually makes a really loud roaring noise when you discharge it just because of how fast it flows. So this is a really nice extinguisher, stands the test of time. As you can see, this extinguisher is from 1984 and it worked perfectly.